Alright, hello everyone. It's been a bit more than a week since I last posted, so I've been slacking a little bit. I'm trying to get on it, get into a rhythm of posting YouTube videos, but I'm here again, and I've just got a process for a picture I drew the other week. It's just a picture of one of my apartments, no big deal, drawn from life. So in this video, I just want to talk about art advice and, you know, looking for kind of answers to how to get better at art. So recently I kind of came to the conclusion that I don't really believe there's such thing as good art advice in my opinion. And what I mean by this is for every good piece of art advice, I think the opposite thing could be said, and it could also be helpful in a different situation to a different person. And this became clear to me when I was talking to my mum. She's also an artist, a pastel artist, and she draws wildlife. Not as great as me, but she's alright, I guess. But jokes aside, she's really good, and she's been doing it for years. She works on very large scale pieces, which she can spend weeks on, and she's done this for years now. But recently, things have changed a bit, and now she's focusing more on oil paints and painterly execution rather than rendering out all the individual strands of fur kind of thing, and just really laboring over it. We had pretty different beginnings when we got into art. When she started out, she would paint very similar subjects or draw very similar subjects as she does now. Like she would spend a lot of time on each piece and essentially just creates very similar work to what she does now, but obviously at a much lower level. On the flip side, I did things very differently because of who I learnt from. I came across really great YouTubers like Proco and Marco Bucci, who put a great emphasis on sketching and quicker studies and how to learn the fundamentals. And naturally, I ended up doing more of this because it really does improve your skills faster. And I still believe that to this day. Like to get the fundamentals down, the best thing you can do really is lots of quick studies, whether it be literally just drawing boxes for your warm up, doing mannequins of figures, doing value breakdowns of paintings that you like, or just photo references. But the problem was that was all I'd do. But I kept doing them because I knew they were making me more skilled. And I was seeing results there. But I never got into art just to, draw naked people with accurate anatomy. And I did this for a good 2 years as well. I pretty much forgot why I actually did art. I just kind of got addicted to becoming more skilled for my future self, which is good. It's good to some extent. But it wasn't just from working for my future self place. It was also because I got comfortable doing those practices, and I knew I could feel good. Like if I could feel productive if I did those things, and I knew that if I had a photo reference that I was working from, and I'd done these things before, even if it was a new pose or something or a new kind of image, I knew I could break it down, and I knew I could get something decent that I could be pretty happy with. There was much less chance of failure, so I became quite comfortable just practicing art and not even being an artist. And my mum says now that me being like this helped her change the way she looks at things, because she'd obviously drawn years before me, and I only got into art probably 5 years ago now. And she says that me learning the way that I did helped her to be less precious and just sketch quickly and, focus on getting things right and drawing things in the right place straight away and focusing on the fundamentals like gesture and perspective. Because she'd always liked the look of the sort of fine art, very skilled, academy trained painters with a bit of a modern flair to them. But she never knew how to do it because she just didn't really learn in the same way that they did. She'd always tell me how I'm approaching things in the right way and how she wished that she'd learned the same way as me when she started out. As well, she said how she's trying to become less precious and perfectionistic over her work. And this was a real positive for her because sometimes it used to even be stressful with some of the pictures that she'd worked on for weeks, and she was worried that she might mess them up. But I think I took the idea of being quick and throwaway with your practicing of art way too far for a good period of time. I never really tried making any pieces to the best of my ability. I just gave myself I'd time myself on pretty much everything I did. I just had a limited time to do something, and then as good as I could make it in that time was where I was going to leave it at. And I even did this a little bit when I started doing the kind of illustration work that I actually want to do, the kind of work I do now. I've often looked back at pictures I posted a few days later and wish I'd refined certain elements of it, or just straight up done something completely differently. I'd always move on partly because of impatience, and also partly because I believed there was no point in trying to push it further if I didn't get it right quickly. So I kind of didn't know how good I actually was, in the sense that I never created a piece to the best of my ability for a while. So my point is that me and my mum needed to hear the complete opposite advice, and I think everyone has different problems in their work. There definitely are similar problems that beginners face for sure, but I think when you get to a certain level, you can't count on other artists like the ones you look up to diagnose your problems and give you a solution, unless you're talking to them specifically and they actually know you. You need to figure out for yourself and really be objective with the shortcomings of your own work, and also in your approach. Another thing I've seen go around the art community recently is artists criticizing the advice, just draw, or like draw every day. And I've heard from people that this advice is unproductive because it's not specific enough and you need to practice the right things. But to be honest, I just think it's artists trying to justify their laziness. And that's one reason I think that artists aren't respected generally, but that's for another video. I'm not being funny, but one Google search would tell you what you should be practicing to improve art. Just look up the art fundamentals. If you literally just copy one of your favorite artist pieces, you will improve. A lot of artists, in myself included, when I first started out, just hope for the answer to be given to them, and they might seek it through art school, for example. So I would definitely argue that drawing, or just drawing every day, is good advice for some people. I'd say it's good advice for anyone who's decided they want to be really good, and definitely anyone who has decided they want to make it a career. But, on the other hand, maybe it's not good for the guy who just watched Whiplash and broke up with his girlfriend to get carpal tunnel from drawing too much. Everyone's looking for a clear path to reach their goals. Like, I have friends my age that don't know what they're going to do when they're older, and it's scary for them, and I really understand that. I felt that way up till very recently. I also have friends at universities doing a course they don't really care about, and it doesn't go anywhere, just because they need some direction. I also have friends at top universities and who know what they're doing, and they have a plan for their life, which is great. Pretty much I have loads of friends. I'm just a chill guy, I guess. But I'm saying this because everyone is looking for that security, that guarantee of a career. Like, if I just take these clear outline steps, I'll end up where I want to be in the future. And that's great for doctors and lawyers. But I think if you want to be an artist, that just isn't the case. I go to university for animation, and the number of people I've spoken to who pretty much just chose the course because they like to watch anime or play games is insane. Maybe the degree will lead us straight into a job, but my gut feeling is it's going to take a lot more than that. My point is, I guess, there's no art advice that will help everyone. You need to figure things out for yourself through trial and error, trying out different methods, and also just being honest with yourself as well. There's no clear path to becoming a really good artist, and that's scary. But getting paid to draw pictures is kind of the shit, and anything worth having doesn't come easy.